views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Voices of Women is a talk radio show that gives voice to the personal stories of women. It will inspire women and enlighten men to follow their dreams and create positive changes in their lives. Whether the audience listens to best-selling authors or a layperson like themselves, they'll realize there are others with similar experiences and feelings to their own. This show will give women tools they can use every day, which will empower them to step out of their boxes and create the changes they desire in their life. Kris inspires women to find their voices, speak up, and become leaders of their own life. Everyone has their gifts to share with the world, and it's time for women to work together to bring honor and respect to the feminine voice, which is within all people, men and women. Topics include personal growth, spirituality, creativity, leadership, and divine feminine. Now here's your host, Kris Steinnes.
Well, welcome to Voices of Women. So excited to be here today, and we're going to be talking about pleasure and fulfillment, your feminine superpowers. So I'm excited to have with me today Caroline Muir, and she's the author of The Art of Conscious Loving. Caroline is an internationally celebrated Tantra Yoga educator, best-selling author, and the queen of the modern Tantra movement. Author of 2 best-selling books, Tantra Goddess, a memoir of sexual awakening, and Tantra, the Art of Conscious Loving. Caroline founded the Divine Feminine Institute for Men and Women in 2004, which has been transformed into Divine Feminine Awakening. So her teachings have impacted over 35,000 students who appreciate the depth, integrity, and warmth she brings to this sensitive and ancient subject. And so I'm excited that we're going to talk with Caroline today on this subject. I want to share first some quotes I just picked out of her book. It's actually her memoir of sexual awakening. Pleasure is a rite of passage into the realms of spirit, but only when it is joined to every cell in your being. Tantra comes alive when I surrender to the mystery by way of mastery. The way to freedom is marked by the feeling in your belly, joined to your heart and joined to your mind, keenly focused on your innate intelligence. I believe that spiritual sexuality is the next frontier in human sexuality. So, what we're going to talk about today. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you, Kris. That was lovely. I'm so happy I said all those things.
Yeah. Well, first, I like to have people start off with their story, so your personal story and what inspired you to become this expert in the Tantra element of the Divine Feminine.
Yes. That's what happened first, the Tantra version. Tantra is a yoga, so let's be real clear about that from the get-go. Tantra was one of the limbs of yoga from ancient India in the Hindu tradition. And I first heard of Tantra Yoga in a yoga class 30-some years ago. And it was the first time I had ever heard that our human sexuality joined to spirit was the whole purpose of sexual contact and sexual loving, according to people on a spiritual path. And that really grabbed me because I don't think I had ever experienced a spiritual connection and a sexual connection at the same time. So that's what caused me to step on the path and say, I'm a go 100%. I want to learn this work. I want to apply it to every part of myself, first and foremost, and heal any parts of myself as a woman that are disowned, diseased. I had a complete hysterectomy by the time I was 26 years old and never could have children. So I always wondered what was wrong with me and what happened, And the study of Tantra Yoga and the practices that followed brought great healing and awakening to me as a woman.
Oh, that's great. And I know, I know it's a big issue for women, and I'm wondering if you can go a little bit more into what Tantra is and what that means.
Yeah, I would love to. Every day that I think about Tantra, I guess another description comes forth because it's a vast subject. And it is an ancient subject, but we are not ancient people, and we are not Hindus, and we don't have 3 hours to meditate and pray and do our yoga before we move into the bedroom. So someone said to me the other day on the phone that they just felt they knew nothing, a woman, that she knew nothing about her sexuality, even though she has 2 kids and a wonderful husband, but she's just really eager to find out who she is as a sexual woman. And she said, the only thing I've really studied in depth was the Course in Miracles. And I said, well, I think the best description for Tantra Yoga is it is the Course in Miracles that you take into the bedroom and share with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful, beautiful set of practices that make 2 people be more aware, mindful, and conscious when they're going through the natural acts of sexual loving, but instead of it just being sex to get off, it's sex to join God, and it's sex to join more deeply with one another. And all of that mental focus and meditation and breathing on all the chakras brings sex into something called sexual love.
And that spiritual sexual connection too, that bringing that spiritual element to it.
Well, that God is above the top of the chakras. So if you're bringing sexual energy and all of that pleasure and passion that's happening in the genitals, and you breathe that energy up through the crown chakra and meet that energy with whatever is divine for each human being, you are joining your passion to spirit. And then if you open your eyes and share that with the partner that you're loving with, you're both doing that together. And that creates a circuit of spiritual energy that you're manifesting more of through the passion.
Well, that reminds me, one of the things you have a chapter on is tantric harmony, and that sounds like, I imagine there's exercises to, how do you bring about that harmony, which sounds like what you just kind of shared, but
yes,
maybe there's
Well, we need the harmony and the meditations and the practices to offset the times when we go into sexual connection with another for an agenda. And the agenda is the result, the orgasmic result. I have mine, you have yours, we're successful. And really, 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 if we can let go of those agendas and, of course, just enjoy them when they're there and make the lovemaking an offering to love and to that which created the love within us, which I would call spirit or God. Many people are asked, well, what are other names for God in your vocabulary? And usually the first other name that comes up for people is love. So if loving and God and passion can be mixed all in one when people move towards the choice to have sex or the desire to have sex, and they can plug in a few techniques that are very simple in the lovemaking, it's going to take on a whole other energy field around it. And that's the harmony that we speak of. That's the harmony that we long for in a good relationship.
Yeah, I think it's something people desire, and yet, we all have our it seems like we're still impacted by that Victorian age of and dealing with guilt and shame, and how do you manage that or work with people to help them release that?
Well, yeah, that part still lurks in the sub-psyche of most women. The sexual generation and the porn industry has more than satisfied the masculine. But the women are still going, well, but that's not what I do in the bedroom, and that's not who I am. And, of course, the Victorianism and the shame and the shyness and the fear of being enough really permeates the feminine psyche way too much. Just like we don't like our bodies and we don't like our breasts and they're too big or too little and we don't like our bellies, and there's always something about our bodies that we're hating. And yet here is this body that is made for pleasure. But we block it. We're afraid to have too much pleasure. We're afraid to lose control. And the men, they need some education too in bringing more consciousness to the sexual act so that we can wake up to what's going on. And the education of Tantra Yoga does that. And that's why I've really married this subject many years ago, because I know that what couples go through. I've been a couple in majority of the years of my adult life. And I know how the agenda's around sex, and I feel like it, and the other one doesn't feel like it, and the old programming around, well, my mom said, I should just do it for him, or there's so many tapes and resistances that build in us as women, especially the more we're exposed to the porn market, and the part of us as sexual women that is not exposed in the marketplace or in the media. And we are sensual and refined and elegant, and we can get down and dirty too, but we want the balance. We want to be seen for all that we are.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned like this, it's not visible out there. It's gathering what you say, it's kind of like it's the male viewpoint, so that feminine viewpoint isn't out there, and when it's not reflected in our society, it's harder for us to own it ourselves too. Exactly,
Kris, and especially as women get older. And I mean older, which is postmenopausal or over 45 or over 50, where our bodies aren't the same little wired for sex, youthful bodies and energies and libidos that we once had.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that when we come back from our break. We'll get into that then. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be back soon and talk more with Caroline Muir.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Kris Steinnes is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Do you want to achieve your goals? Do you want to strengthen relationships with others? Do you want to improve your financial status? Colette Marie Steffen is partnering with Mark Kettenbach to bring you an energetic upgrade online experience. Unfold and develop your full potential. Visit energeticupgrade.com today for more information. That's energeticupgrade.com.
The Doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Order your copy of Dr. Friedemann Schaub's The Fear and Anxiety Solution today. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com for more information.
Welcome back to Voices of Women. I'm Kris Steinnes, and we are learning some great things about Tantra and the art of loving, conscious loving with Caroline Muir. And so we were just talking, we just ended the last segment talking about women becoming invisible at a certain age and what happens after postmenopause and with women's sexuality. So I'd love, Caroline, for you to continue on that exploration of that idea, because a lot of us are dealing with that.
Thank you. Women don't want to become invisible. It isn't something that we choose, but it doesn't seem to be an invitation in the culture for women to still be show skin and be sexy and feel sexy and want to have love in their life. As we get older, it's like we're supposed to fall into this grandmother-like persona, and then we have grandkids, and then that makes that a lot easier. But we still have this inner flame and desire for passion and for romance in our lives. And so those are the women that I really am targeting at this point in my life, because I'm one of you. I have tremendous desire for romantic passion and love, and my body is not the one that I had when I was in my 30s or 40s, but it still feels the same sensual desires, and that's what I really want to invite women into, is stepping forward out of any desire to become invisible and not be seen as a powerful, sexual, alive, passionate woman. And the sexual part shifts when the libido shifts. And so we have to draw on a deeper part of our sexuality, and I call that our sexual soul. Because the libido is not going to be driving us like it did when we were younger. But our sexual soul is still very sensual and passionate. And our sexuality does go to a deeper place if we can just allow that part of ourselves to remain as important as getting our hair appointments or whatever you feel is that important. We need to also maintain a connection to our sexuality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has a lot to do with youth and life force. And I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I didn't say that part, and I really want to accentuate the part about in the aging process. The most youthful look on a woman's face is if she's running some of her sexual energy. It's like a beautiful flush that she's wearing, and at any age, it's in their 70s, in her 80s, in her 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at any age, and I think there is starting to be a shift of, women we're in our 60s. It doesn't feel like we're crones and the old women, and
no, it doesn't.
And we're more alive, and we're more active, and even somewhat less aging. And so I feel like I have a lot of role models, even women who are in their 70s, and seeing them that they're, of keeping that spark alive, of just being excited about life and staying active, and to be aware of our sexuality. And a lot of times women aren't with partners at that age. Either they've divorced or their partners have passed away and they're alone. And then there's that desire for, I think women I know that kind of think they'll never be in a relationship again, that's just not possible. And maybe that has to do with that thing of that concept that we have that you were talking about in our society, that they're invisible, that they're not attractive anymore, they have these older bodies, and how could they possibly attract another male in their life at this age?
Yeah, the attracting a male is one part of it, and the other part of it is as they go back and remember when they were with a man in their younger years, we don't want that same kind of I feel like it, so let's do it. We really want a much deeper, intimate, joyful connection with a partner. And we can, our sexuality is something we can play with. It's not something we have to do because we're driven to do it. And so there's a whole consciousness that opens up for women. And the men are having a little bit harder time connecting to that because their programming is very much that, well, I'm supposed to be a certain way for a woman to be interested in me. And that can slow down for men as they get in their 60s and 70s. And so then how do we teach them, and that is one of my specialties, teaching people how to be more intimate and physically intimate and sexually intimate in a playful way without the agenda for sex as it once was.
Yeah, I think that's something women struggle with.
In my experience, they absolutely do struggle with that, yes.
Yeah. Of finding that, or
we
even thinking it's possible.
What, say that again, Kris?
Oh, that it's even possible. And so we don't try.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate because we are the teachers. We are the teachers of intimacy. Within every woman is that spark of Aphrodite and the queen of intimacy, and it's up to us to teach the men that we meet, that we might like, that we think are nice men or good men, what it is how we want to share ourselves physically and or sexually with them, because they just don't know. So it's up to us women to keep our education going, and I've written a whole course on living a turned-on life in which I teach women what they need to know that they then need to teach the men that they meet, and it's not so difficult to take the pressure off of being in a partnership, in a relationship where you as a woman know exactly how you want to shape it and how you want to bring the man into that energy.
Yeah, that sounds like a great course. And is there something? Is there information on your website about courses like that?
The link for the course is turnedonlife.net.
Oh, okay. Turnedonlife.net. Great. I think,
yeah. And I think it is actually, it just went live this week, and the course is for sale, and it will be ongoing now.
Okay.
The first round with it was so successful. I had so many women. Again, most of them were in their 60s, a few in their 70s, and one was 81. And she said, it was just beautiful to hear on the live calls the discussions among the women about how much they're learning and how they didn't know they could do that, or they didn't know they could ask for that. And I'm very gratified that what I've learned for myself is that I can pass it on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Well, one of the things I want to ask you about, because the title that you gave for this interview, the feminine superpowers. Let's talk about feminine superpowers.
Let's awaken the feminine superpowers. And yes, I know we have to talk about them first to even know what they are, because every woman has superpowers, and a big part of that is her solo connection with her sexual essence, her feminine sexual essence. And that can so easily be connected to through little internal muscular exercises that often women learn when they go to birthing classes. I think they were called Kegel exercises. Mm-hmm. And that superpower can be harnessed within each woman by playing with those internal muscles. We call them the love muscles. And if a woman can, in her time alone, activate the sexual, sensual energy that is always within her It's like a flame, an eternal flame, and we just need to fan it a little and pull those muscles up and take deep breaths and remember who we are in our fullest aliveness. And that is bringing a superpower feeling into all women that I know who spend time practicing this, just a couple minutes a day. You can do it at your desk. You can do it when you're getting a manicure. No one has to know you're doing it.
Yes, driving. Well, and that doesn't relate to having a partner either.
No, it doesn't mean you need to have a partner. It means that you need to be your own partner.
Right. And
you need to run this sexual energy that is with you for life through your system, into your cells, into your brain. All of this is going to hold off the aging process quite a bit, and certainly the cognitive aging, the dementia and Alzheimer's difficulties. We need to bring that life force, that sexual energy that we hold within us, and bring that in a deep breath up to our brain. And these are the little kind of exercises I love to teach women in the classes that I do with them, and then they know how to do it, and they realize how simple it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the whole thing of it's a big. I think of people in their 60s and their 70s. It's a big worry about dementia and our memories and we know how, because we were just talking before we started the show, like remembering someone's name, and then we kind of go, oh my goodness,
exactly.
is this the start of what? Is this the start of dementia? Right. Oh dear.
I know. Well, memory. Yeah, memory is the big one, and we start to realize we're not remembering things as easily as we once did.
Yeah, and I just tell myself, like, if it's important, it'll come back. And when I relax,
that's true. But I know a lot of younger people who forget things a lot too. So I think we're okay. But I think that it makes sense, doesn't it, to circulate and activate this energy within us as women. And rather than using it for sex or orgasms or pleasure, which is one way to use it, is to recirculate it within our own systems in very simple practices that you could learn in a yoga class. You don't have to take your clothes off. No one has to touch you.
Okay.
And it works.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about what works with Tantric art of conscious loving when we come back from our break.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Are you anxious, worried, or insecure? Hi, I'm Dr. Friedman Schaub. I'm the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution. Join me for my next breakthrough video seminar, which starts on September 10th. This program has helped thousands of people worldwide to overcome their struggles with anxiety, and I'm certain it can also help you. If you're ready to be free again and have a stronger foundation of inner peace and confidence, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Have you ever tried to make lifestyle changes but had difficulty following through? Imagine what it would be like to get up each morning with energy, clarity, and motivation to tackle the day. If you want to get past limiting barriers that are preventing you from living your best life, join holistic health and wellness coach T. Carrie Mitchell each month on the Dr. Pat Show, or visit lifestyle120.com today and start to receive the personal attention you deserve.
Kris Steinnes is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Welcome back to Voices of Women. I'm Kris Steinnes, and I've been speaking with Caroline Muir about Tantra, the art of conscious loving. And I just want to repeat, she gave everybody a website where you can sign up for this a webinar, and it's a recording of the live one she did, and it's at www.turnedonlife.net. And Caroline, why don't you share again what it is about the course and
what the course is?
Yeah,
yeah. It's a synthesis of what I have learned and put into practice and taught so many women about over the years of teaching a Tantra Yoga course, The Art of Conscious Loving. And so I've synthesized it into a system of practices and commitments that we can make to ourselves as women, just like we brush our hair and we paint our nails or we get dressed for the day. What are the little things that don't take a lot of time that we can do that remind our system, remind our brain that our femininity and our divine feminine is alive and well? And in particular, activating the internal or eternal flame that is within every woman. And it can be activated through these simple exercises of squeezing and relaxing the muscles that run through our genitals and breathing that energy up into our system and into our brain for increased vitality. Because this sexual energy is the energy of life. And so what I talk about in the course is how can we keep this turned on about life energy moving through us in many simple little ways, especially for women who don't have partners, who aren't going to be sexual with someone, and maybe even don't want to be that sexual with themselves, which is fine. But there needs to be a way that we can activate and bring within and raise within us the energy of life. This energy creates life in the right combination of actions, our sexual energy. And just because we're not feeling sexual anymore or alive and turned on or with a partner, it does not mean that energy should go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to ask you why it is important to keep that sexual energy alive for aging women. Regardless if they have a partner.
Well, yeah, because otherwise we just sit and age. And if we're moving against the aging, which is slowing down and getting tired earlier and having a lot of pain and less energy, these are all the indicators of the aging process. And it's kind of depressing, and it kind of causes us to give up. And go, well, I guess I'm aging, so who would be interested in me? Well, if you are interested in you through some of these simple practices, you're going to be having a lot more fun with life. And I must share with you, Kris, that I love, and I'm so interested in myself and the way I live my life and the things I get to do in my life and the privilege of maintaining an awareness of my sensuality and my femininity and the great gift of being a woman.
Yeah, that's so important. And I think there is a real movement towards women stepping into that. And so having guides and experts like yourself for people to learn from and follow is so important. So one of the things that you talk about too is the Shakti energy. And then this is related to, all this that we've been talking about is related to that. And I'd love for you to share more about that.
Well, I think it's a wonderful word, Shakti. Shakti is Sanskrit. It comes from the ancient Hindu language. And the translation of the word Shakti is sexual spiritual energy. So Shakti is the energy that you as a woman feel when you walk into a room and you love what you're wearing and you notice that someone, or maybe more than someone, is noticing you and looking at you and gives you a compliment. And you kind of sparkle because yeah, I do look good today. Now, that's just the superficial. That's the outside. But what you're feeling inside is your Shakti is flowing through you. Your sexual, sensual aliveness is alive and well. And it's part of what's making your eyes shine so brightly. And it's part of what's making your skin glow. And it's part of what's making your smile authentic, because you love being you, and you love feeling yourself as an energy that goes out into the world. And I think of that energy as a gift to the world. I think of that energy as an art form. I see women and men who carry themselves this way as art forms walking by out in the world, and I always admire them. Someone took the time to smile or twinkle or just have a little bit of their Shakti showing, if that makes sense to anyone. It doesn't mean you're acting overtly sexual. It means that you're internalizing the energy of life, and you're not afraid that someone might see that you're alive with yourself.
It's interesting when you talk about that, because you do notice people like that. And there's also another element that I think sometimes we get into comparing, and we get a little jealous of people who have that, and or resentful, and we kind of judge them for, oh, look at them, showing off their sexuality. And when we're just, I can admit doing that sometimes, and it's just that jealousy of, why? Because we also want that.
We all want it. You're right.
And we know when we have it too, because there's times when we do it ourselves. But it's interesting because it's that whole woman thing of we've been taught to compete, to compare ourselves to everybody else. And I think we're in a movement, which is, I was talking to a friend of mine about it. She was saying that's patriarchal, this comparison of that there's rankings or ratings of people, and people are better, some are better than others, and always rating yourself against other people is an old way of thinking. And then we're moving away from that to realizing, we are who we are and honor who we are, and it's not about comparing ourselves.
Exactly. It's an old paradigm of thinking, the competition and the comparison. And in the sisterhood and the women, the divine feminine movement that I've been a part of and a leader in now for many years, that's gone. The jealousy factor among women is gone. We love to look at one another and go, oh my God, look at you. You look fantastic. You feel fantastic, don't you? And really support that sensual beauty that all women carry to be seen. To be seen whether you're checking out at the grocery store or taking a walk in the park. I mean, there are places out in the world where we have to be a little more careful. I know that. Careful in terms of not putting out any attractive energy because it wouldn't be safe. But many of us, don't go to those parts of the city. And so in our own neighborhoods and in our own comfort zones and with our own friends and places that we enjoy going to, even in yoga classes, bring that part of you that is sensually alive. Don't necessarily feel you have to put her to bed or to rest or enclosed under, behind a closed door. She needs to be seen and experienced. Beauty is what makes the world go round.
Yeah, and you said like you surround yourself with that of women like that, and that women aren't doing this anymore. But I think there are some that still do this, and I think it's important.
Many.
Yeah, many. So I think it's
women
important to surround yourself with supportive women, to not hang around. Maybe time to change some friendships if you're not getting that support. And
exactly.
honoring and the honoring of each other versus the competition. It's time to take a look at that in your life if that's what's happening. And speak up, because we need, just like you're saying, women need to train men of what's needed. We need to train other women of what we expect other women to treat other women.
Yes, we do. And we are teaching each other, and we are gathering at conferences such as the one that you are putting on every year up in Seattle. And I bet there's a lot of women that come to that who come to drink in that approving, loving connection to other women.
Oh, yes, definitely. And having that community and that support, and you go away feeling empowered to do, because there are women there to support you and be your rah-rah team, like go for it. And that it just empowers you to go, to make changes. I mean, that's why Woman of Wisdom is authentic and life-changing because of that. It's in-depth, intimate experiences with other women that, it's not the rah-rah up the stage kind of thing, and you go away excited, and then it kind of just dwindles down, and kind of like, well, that was nice. We're not that kind of conference, it's very different. And and so this is all a part of this. It's part of the, there's so few people that come that work in the sensual, sexual field. We had Margot on many, many years ago, and there's so few experts in it that speak to it in a spiritual sense, in a correct way that I think.
Understand.
Yeah, and it's an important part of, just as you were saying, it's an important part of the divine feminine, to be be fully yourself.
Exactly.
Because we do cut it off. It's kind of like, oh, that's that difficult area, and don't want to talk about that because all the shame and the guilt. We go through that. Well, we're going to take another break and come back and talk more with Caroline Muir, author of The Art of Conscious Loving.
Kris Steinnes is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Darter.
And I'm Steve Kramer.
Join us on Spirit Fire Radio. Discover how to add the mechanics of meditation to your day.
And watch yourself connect in a whole new way. Find the amazing moments in life's routines that often pass us by. Add to your awareness with Spirit Fire Radio.
Tune in each Wednesday at 9 a.m. for your weekly guide to practical mindfulness. And to learn more, visit www.spiritfireradio.com.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Get ready to rid yourself of all that is weighing you down and holding you back from living the life you want for yourself. Coming Clean, The Art of Transparency with Catherine Moss is a hit show for women in recovery who are ready to live life on purpose. Tune in and let Catherine help you live your truth one day at a time. Live each Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Get into it for 2016. Do you want more prosperity, clarity, energy, and balance in your life? Join Lynn Brown now for one of her amazing workshops, each focusing on a key part of living your best life. For more information and to register for one of these amazing workshops, visit lynnbrownevent.com. That's lynnbrownevent.com. And get into it this 2016 with Lynn Brown.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Welcome back to Voices of Women. So we've been talking with Caroline Muir, and which has been great. And so, Caroline, I was curious, as we're talking, I just realized, we're living in such difficult times. There's war, there's terrorism, there's the economy, the politics. It's not even going to that. The environment that, it feels selfish. It can feel selfish to be working on, pleasure and on yourself, and the feeling guilty and shame if we focus on ourselves. So I'd love for you to share about that and why it's important.
Yeah. Well, it's more important than we realize, and many of us have bought into that being selfish or self-centered is wrong. I certainly have come up against it in my own family, because somewhere along the line I got that being self-centered is a very healthy thing to do. Being centered around myself keeps me happy, keeps me from complaining, keeps me taking care of myself in ways that I might not pay attention to if I were always busy thinking about somebody else. And we women are great at making everybody else first. And I do a lot of private sessions with women who come to me because they just don't know how to put themselves first. And yet it makes sense to them that they should learn how to do it. But isn't that selfish? And, none of us heard in our churches when we were little kids, that to do that would be a good idea. It is better to give than to receive. And I just have really learned and now am living my life and helping other women live their lives, where putting yourself first has great benefits. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to always be putting out the loving and the helping hand to another. But if you're in your fullness, if you're fulfilled and your pleasure is at a high state and you're living who you are in all of the ways that your Creator gave you to live, then it's easy to turn to your kids or your grandkids or your partner or your neighbors or your church friends and say, here, let me help, let me give. I have extra energy. I'm full. In fact, I'm overflowing. But you're never going to get overflowing if you don't sometimes take time to put yourself absolutely first.
Yeah, that's true. It's
and we forget, don't we,
yes,
Kris? We forget.
Yeah, there's so many things to take care of, and then it's like the end of the day is like, well, I go end my day with a bath, and that's my self time. But it's little moments during it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but it's little moments during the day, or even just starting your day, like, okay, what is it? What is there for me to learn today, or for me to do for myself, and even being aware of how that will then help others or help you get through the day of all the expectations and things you need to do. You'll be more energized.
It helps a lot. In my Living a Turned On Life course, that's the first thing I tell women to do when they get up in the morning. Go directly to the mirror and smile. And just love how you look just the way you do when you get up. And then face the sunshine and bring in the day, with a positive moment of joy. And the rest of the day can get as busy and stressful as it's going to get. But if you start in the morning that way and take either a bath at the end of the day, or sometimes I'll stop around 2 o'clock in the afternoon and go, I need to lay down on my bed and stretch my body and feel my body and maybe even change my clothes. Not to take a lot of time doing it, but just to refresh myself. Brush my hair, put a spot of perfume on or some lipstick, and then go back to the millions of tasks that still need to get done. It's working for me, and it's working for a lot of women I know, because they love feeling good about themselves. And it makes you want to go get your list completed, So I can tell that you must do this too, Kris, because you've got that energy, and we want others to partake in the feast of loving yourself as part of a daily practice.
Yeah, it's important. And I have a big to-do list, so I can't say I do it all the time, but I do start my day slowly, and that's one way.
Right.
And I work at home, so I get my cat love time. Well, they remind me to feed them. So, but also, so there's little things we could do, and just remembering to take that walk outside, and I find it like being in nature and taking the walk outside and things like that. And there's little things you can do. It doesn't have to take much time either. Just really being aware of what your body is calling for right now, what your spirit is calling for, and to not deny it in yourself, to not put it off like, oh, I can't do that because I've got to do X, Y, Z, and those won't get done if I do this for myself. And that's not actually true. Because it seems like everything really gets done in its own time.
Yeah, and everything will never all get done at once. No matter how much we've crossed off everything on that list, the new list has begun for tomorrow. And so I just accept that it's never all going to get done, but I'll get as much of it done as I feel good about doing today. And I have to take the stress off myself because it looks terrible on me, and I get cranky and I'm not nice. And, sometimes if I go to the market and I have bags and they say, can we help you out to your car? I'll say, yeah, that'd be great, even if I know I don't need them to, because I know they need to get out of the store. And so I chat with them all the way to the car, and then we take them. I say, take a moment just to stand in the sunshine, and thank you so much for coming to the car and helping. And I could see them walk back into their job, and something has shifted. And it didn't take anything off of me to help remind them, because I'm the one that's free to come and go as I please.
Well, what is your last statement that you want to leave people with of you've given a lot already in this hour, but what is your last parting words for wisdom?
Don't give up. Don't buy into the cultural paradigm that it's too late for you. The truth is, it's never too late, and there's always a fresh new moment. Real impromptu, because I didn't have anything planned, but we need to not buy into the belief that it's going to be too late for us, and that we as women at every age are luscious and juicy and adorable and fun and funny and great to be with. And if someone doesn't want to be with you, that's their loss. Not yours.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Caroline, for being on the show today.
My pleasure, really. Just enjoyed every minute of it, Kris. Thank you.
So check out her website. There's two. There's the her workshops are at the turnedonlife.net, and then other website is divine-feminine.com. So I'm Kris Steinnes, founder of Women of Wisdom Foundation. We're gearing up for our 25th year this February, and we'll be announcing who's going to be at WOW in September. You can sign up for our newsletter at womenofwisdom.org, and we have a very subtle invitation to the conference. So we're actually inviting people who have been with us for over the 25 years, but there are some openings. And if you'd like to look into this and be considered, just go to our conference website is www.thewowconference.org and look for the 2017 conference. It'll have information and application form. And don't forget, our fall festival is a fun day. If you're an artist or intuitive reader healer, we need people to participate in the fair. It's a great day, October 1st, and you can sign up for having a booth at that same website, thewowconference.org. And check out my book, Woman of Wisdom, Empowering the Dreams and Spirit of Women. It gives inspiration for the divine feminine and many voices, art, poetry, and talks from the WOW conference over the many years. And you can check that out at the womanofwisdom.org website. Benefits Woman of Wisdom when you buy it there. And so we're at our closing time. So I'm so glad to have been with you today with Caroline Muir, and next week I'll be on with Dr. Marilyn Joyce, author of Instant Energy. So everybody have a great August weekend. It's still summertime, so enjoy the good weather.
You've been listening to Voices of Women with Kris Steinnes. Tune in each Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Voices of Women Today, radio with Kris Steinnes.